Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to talk about Exodus 20 and 21. And I'm going to give you 6 things. First, we're starting out in the law. And this right away is one of the most famous parts, the 10 Commandments. But 2, there's so much more. I believe there are either 613 or 614 laws given at this time. So the 10 are just scratching the surface. And we're going to go over a lot of these. Number 3, we see God is all about no images carved of himself. Not from gold, not from silver. Don't even chisel a stone to be a shape when you put it on an altar. We want nothing there. This is for 2 reasons. 1, God says it, so now it's immoral to do. When God says something and you don't do it, it's immoral, it's sin. But the second is God, and we'll see this throughout different laws, God is setting aside Israel as different. All the surrounding nations, Egypt, Canaan, the Lot, are worshiping these false gods that they've made with their hands. And he is setting Israel apart. So you're not going to make any images with your hands. You're going to be different. Another word for that is holy. Number 4, remember, God set up the Sabbath in Genesis, and we're going to see he's going to reference it here. Hey, 6 days you're going to work, 7th day you're going to rest. Well, a similar law is for the treatment of servants. When somebody's indentured to you in servanthood, 6 years they can work for you. On the 7th, they go free. And that's just set into the culture there. So if someone needed to sell their services to you in payment for debt, they could only work for 6 years, and then 7th year, you've got to let them go, unless they really want to work for you. Number 5, we're going to see extra care taken throughout these laws for women, daughters, wives, mothers. God just wants men to take care of women. That's just what we see. And whether it's a father and his daughters, a husband and wife, or some other kinsman redeemer coming to provide care, a woman is never put out on her own in this society. And number 6, we see perfect justice. A perfect justice is you do something, you get this consequence. You did it, you get this. That's it. That's perfect justice. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's going to be this law. It's going to give us what you do or don't do and the consequences. Later we can talk about grace. And that's big with Jesus, and we'll talk about that. But this law is like the law of our land. You do this, you get this punishment. So let's check it out. Chapter 20, and God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Here we go. Commandment 1, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Number 2, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, and I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless, and taketh his name in vain. Number 5, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath to the Lord God. In it you shall do no work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger which is in thy gates. For 6 days the Lord made the heaven, and earth, and sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Number 5, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long on the land, which the Lord God giveth thee. Number 6, thou shalt not kill. Number 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. Number 8, thou shalt not steal. Number 9, shalt thou not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And number 10, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet, and saw the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood far off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak to us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say to the children of Israel, We have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make any gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you any gods of gold. An altar of earth shalt thou make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon by thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou shalt make an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up to the steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness not be discovered thereon. Number 21. These are the judgments, chapter 21. These are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, then he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be the master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, and unto the doorpost. And his master shall bore through his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if master sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, whom he hath betrothed to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her to a strange nation he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he hath betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he then taketh him another wife, her food and her raiment and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished. And if he do not do these 3 unto her, then she shall go out free without money. He that smiteth a man, so he shall die, shall surely be put to death. So, again, that's the law, that's the punishment. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hands, then I shall appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. So if you accidentally killed somebody, you're on the work site or something, and you drop something and it kills a man, you are allowed to flee to a city of refuge and stay there. But you have to stay in the city. You can't leave, and then you're safe to live your life there if it's an accident. But if his neighboring man comes presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. So if you're in the city of refuge, even holding on to the altar, but you did it on purpose, they can take you from there by force. He that smiteth his father or his mother shall be put to death. He that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be put to death. He that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. And if the men strive together, and one smite the other with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then he shall that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. So if you punched a guy, he didn't die, but he missed some work and had some medical bills, you had to pay for both of those things. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be punished. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or 2, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. So your servant is more like property. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall surely be punished according to the woman's husband, as he will lay on him. And he shall pay as the judges determine. So he's going to pay a fine to the husband if you injure a woman who's pregnant and she miscarries. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Perfect justice. And if a man smite the eye of his servant, or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go out free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth, or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let them go free for his tooth's sake. So if your servant loses a body part because you struck them, they get to go free. They're no longer your servant, no matter how much they owe you. If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. So you've got an animal, it injures another person, you kill the animal. Done deal. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, and it hath been testified to his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but he hath killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and the owner shall also be put to death. So, hey, you knew that ox would injure somebody else, and you didn't keep a watch on them. You die also. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall be given for a ransom of his life, whatsoever is laid upon him, or big fine of money. Whether he had gored a son or gored a daughter, according to this judgment, it shall be done to him. If the ox shall push a manservant or maidservant, he shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. So again, just here's what happens, here's the punishment. And if a man open a pit, or a man shall dig a pit, and does not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make good, and give the money to the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. Okay, I had a live beast, fell in your pit that wasn't covered. You give me a live one, you get the dead one. It's a trade. And if anyone ox hurts another's, that he shall die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it. And the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be known that the ox used to push in times past, and the owner hath not kept in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. Again, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, perfect justice. You did this thing, here's the punishment, pay up. And we're going to see that quite a few times. Now, the law is broken up into different categories. There's going to be some very specific religious ones, but these are more like, hey, this is the law of the land or the city. You know, these things are going to happen. You have to do this. You know, if this happens, then you do this. There's going to be some proactive ones we'll see as we talk through this. I'm pretty excited to see the law in light and just really study it and see what kind of themes are there. So don't miss it. Catch you next time.